Morning all, hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe. It's Monday the 27th of April and it's 7:45 in the morning here in Orlando. There was no news that I gave over the weekend. I concentrated on giving my thoughts on how Disney would reopen in light of the questionnaire that was given to Universal's annual pass holders. I followed that one up with a video on Magic Kingdom, on all 81 of its attractions and rides and how I thought they might operate on day one. So we're back to the working week and we're back to the news today. So there's quite a lot to get through from over the weekend. So here it is. We're going to look at US daily cases as we normally do, Florida daily cases. Bit of a spike over the weekend, but then it kind of came back down a little bit again. President Trump's daily briefings, will they carry on? There's none over the weekend. Dr. Fauci calling for doubling of testing before reopening the economy, and then we're looking at states which never closed, those which have opened already, and those which are going to open on or before April the 30th, and there's quite a lot of them. We're looking at pharmacies in New York being able to now administer the COVID-19 test, and that's going to be also the case in Florida, so hopefully that will really ramp up testing here. We're going to look at unemployment figures. They don't make pretty reading. We're going to look at the Florida Taskforce asking Ron DeSantis for more time to come up with their recommendations. We're also going to discuss Ron DeSantis' press briefing from Saturday from here in Orlando and Jerry Demings' interview yesterday. And finally, it looks like Disney are going all online check-in when you get to a resort, so we're going to look at that, and they've posted a 1-minute video as well which I captured, and I'm going to show you that too. So that's the news for today. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you'll get news pretty much every day up to when this thing stops happening and when the resorts are back open. Then I'll be back in the parks doing my regular thing, so hopefully you'll tune in for those as well. Okay, let's get to the news. In the US, total cases yesterday were 26,509, on Saturday 35,419, on Friday 38,958, which was the highest one-day case number recorded. On Saturday, President Trump tweeted that the White House daily briefings were not worth his time and effort. This comes after Thursday's comments he made at the briefing where he said that injecting disinfectant might be a way to combat the virus. On Friday, his briefing was just 22 minutes long, and there was no briefings on Saturday or Sunday. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that testing in the US should double before it considers reopening the economy. So far, around 1.5% of the population has been tested. This is a little more than in Florida, where it's about 1.2%, but in Miami, it's 2%. Regardless of that, 6 states have actually never closed, which are Arkansas, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah and Wyoming. 4 states have reopened already to some extent, which are Alaska, Georgia, South Carolina and Tennessee. A further 13 states have their stay-at-home order expiring by April the 30th, including Florida, which expires on April the 30th. Over the weekend, Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York said that New York pharmacies would now be able to administer the tests, which should increase testing dramatically. Governor DeSantis of Florida also said that Florida pharmacies would be able to do the same. In Florida, cases were 1,251 on Friday, which is almost the highest here. On Saturday, it was 778, and yesterday was 830. Governor DeSantis again on Friday said that Florida was flattening the curve, and that's in spite of the high figures coming out on Friday, which almost matched the highest daily cases that we've had. Unemployment continues to be an issue in the US, and now 26 million people have applied for benefits in the last 5 weeks. The Reopening Florida Taskforce has asked Governor DeSantis for more time to consult with medical professionals. They were due to give their recommendations on reopening Florida on Friday. The Reopen Florida Taskforce has launched a public comment submission portal which is open to all Floridians to give their views on how Florida should be reopened. It was stated that public feedback would be a critical component of the task force's final report to Governor Ron DeSantis, which again was due on Friday. On Saturday, Governor Ron DeSantis gave a press briefing for over an hour. He said that Phase 1 would be a very small step forward and also said, "I'm not in a rush." He gave no timescale for when Phase 1 would begin, or if he would extend the stay-at-home order which expires on April the 30th. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings was interviewed yesterday and was asked the question, when will Orange County be able to resume some sense of normal business operations? His response was a little wordy, but is as follows. That is the $100 question that everybody is asking. When will we be able to reopen? The task force will make a recommendation within the next week to 10 days. we should have an idea, but I'm cautiously optimistic that by early summer you will begin to see a phasing in, a reopening of businesses. He went on to say that might be a matter of weeks away to some large-scale businesses that open up to any significant level. It may be a month or two before they are able to do so, but I believe that small businesses that have a small number of patrons that come in, there will be a way for them to do so. It now appears that Walt Disney World are mandating online check-in rather than going to reception to check in. This was picked up by WDW News today over the weekend, and when I checked my reservation for June the 1st, it was there. Disney has produced a 1-minute video to aid guests through the process, and here it is. Still no real decline, proper decline in either US cases or Florida cases. I mean, if you look at it from the peak, well, the peak was actually Friday, but in the US, but if you look at it from kind of April the 4th, it went down. So is that considered grounds for reopening? Plenty of states believe it is. You know, almost half the states will be open by the 30th if they don't extend their stay-at-home plans. I don't know where that puts us. Florida seems to be kind of floating around a bit still. Doesn't seem to be going down too much, but then the concentration of cases is in Miami-Dade, and they do seem to have expanded testing there to now 2% of the population. So hopefully that'll get better. With pharmacies now being able to administer the test, that could be thousands more per day, that's got to be great news. So if we do open up by May the 1st, hopefully they'll keep testing. There doesn't seem to be any issue now with people getting the test if they want to test, whether they have symptoms or not, whether they've been in contact with anybody with COVID-19 or not. So, you know, hopefully going forward we're going to see a big ramp up in testing. President Trump, I think, is kind of stopping his press briefings from this disinfectant thing on Thursday. It's just kind of gone downhill from there. He came out for only a few minutes on Friday, tweeted on Saturday that he wasn't going to do it anymore, it wasn't worth his time. So all he gets now is questions from the reporters, which he doesn't like and doesn't want to really answer. So I think either he won't do them anymore or he'll send out other people to do them. But really there was nothing happening from Friday or over the weekend. Unemployment figures, not very good. 24 million people now claiming unemployment over the past 5 weeks. So until other states now start reopening, that's only going to get worse. Hopefully things will start to get better soon with social distancing in place. The Florida Taskforce asking Governor DeSantis for more time. Now, they were supposed to come back on Friday. Okay, now they've only been together for a week, so it was a tall ask. So I think they've done the right thing. There was only one medical professional on that Reopening Florida Taskforce. So for them to go and ask other medical professionals now for their view, I think is the right thing to do. You know, hopefully they'll come back very, very quickly. Ron DeSantis has got to either extend the stay-at-home order by the 30th or let it expire and then have a plan in place to get back to work into phase 1. So I'm going to be watching that very closely. He's only got 3 days to go, so he's either got that to do that today, tomorrow or Wednesday. So let's see. But if he does open up, then he's not going to have a plan, so maybe he will extend it by a week or something. Now, the public giving their thoughts, so the public's going to have thoughts all over the map. You know, if you're employed, you want to get back to work. If you're susceptible to disease, then you want maybe to not have people roaming around all over the place. But you know, they're going to get thoughts all across the spectrum. So hopefully that's only going to be a very short period of consultation for the public, and they'll close that down and assimilate those results into the recommendations they give to Governor DeSantis. Interesting that, you know, Ron DeSantis never really said much at all about reopening. He kind of dodged 43 days. He dodged the issue on Saturday, pretty much. I'm going to take that down. It's getting a bit breathy. He dodged the issue on Saturday. Jerry Demings kind of hit it a bit more head on Sunday in a roundabout fashion, and he said it was going to be a month to 2 months for large-scale businesses. So he must be including Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld in that timescale. So a month, still brings it to on or around June the 1st. I'm sure Disney don't want to give people their money back or bump people for their resort reservations. I still don't think that they're going to have parks open in a month. So maybe that's the month to 2 month timescale. So 2 months brings us to July the 1st, which is still my thoughts on when Magic Kingdom will open, not the other parks. Magic Kingdom for Disney and one park for Universal, and then SeaWorld open as well, July the 1st. I think that's still on. Neither Ron DeSantis nor Jerry Demings has categorically said that's not happening. Demings is kind of coming down on the month or 2 months, so I'm still going with that thought. So maybe good news. And then Disney's mandatory online check-in. We've been able to check in online with Disney now for a while, but this mandatory thing, so you actually avoid the manual check-in process, is something new. So have a look at that video. Well, hopefully you did. If you didn't, go back and have a look at it. If you're coming to Disney anytime soon, definitely review that process and see how you might get on. So that's the news for today. I think positive news overall. Let's see what happens for the rest of the week on reopening the economy or extending the stay-at-home order. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow probably, but until then, stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.